two, three. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Welcome to a very special edition of Teaching Crypto. This is AZcrypto with MrFOMO. MrFOMO, BTC is kind of playing us for a fool a little bit. We expected some good action. Haven't gotten it so far. So the alts, except for Luna and a few others, like your audio call, have not been doing as well. We wanted to take a look at a very important coin, I think, in the ecosystem of crypto, and that's Cosmos, also known as Atom. Atom right now is sitting at 29.56. Not too shabby. The circulation is 292.6 million. And this is one that, you know, our favorite coin, at least mine, I think you've adopted Luna as one of your favorites too.
Absolutely.
Sits on the ecosystem. So I think it's a very, very important coin. And it's, you know, it's one of those movers where it moves, it does really well, but it also does accumulate for really long periods of time. Market cap is 8.6 billion. The 52-week high, 44.65. So we're not, I mean, not that far from the all-time high. There's a lot on there. It's been linked with some marijuana projects in terms of real-world utility, although I don't think those have quite, I still think we're still in the stage where the utility of crypto has not caught up to what the price does. We're getting there slowly, but we're not there. What are your thoughts before I tell the viewers about my personal view of buying Cosmos?
Let me start with the things that I like about Cosmos. Over 50 coins were created on top of Cosmos. Luna, you've got some other projects. They all work on top of Cosmos. Interoperability, I think we both can agree, is something that's going to be a big deal moving forward. The ability to go from one chain to the other. And they've just created a bridge to Ethereum. And I'm not sure if that's launched yet. I should have looked that up before we started, but they've got a bridge to Ethereum that will either is launched or will be launching soon. And so there's a lot of interoperability there. And that's, I mean, akin to banks talking to banks right now. You see how many problems Russia is having right now being removed from the SWIFT bank system and just being able to communicate bank to bank. You know, that is going to be important moving forward, just because, you know, it's some people are going to transact in ETH, some people are going to transact in Atom, some people are going to transact in Luna, and their Kepler wallet will give you the ability to just go ahead and swap value for value rather than, you know, having to go and buy ETH or go and buy whatever you want and then swap it out. Let's say, as far as safety and security, they're one of the safest, and as far as speed, they're one of the fastest as far as transaction speed. So those are all the things that I like about, about Cosmos or Atom. But there's a couple of things that I don't like. First, they're highly centralized. I think their chains run on 130 to 150 nodes, which is a small number. And then on top of that, they're inflationary, somewhere between 9 and 20% year over year, which they say is to control price, to avoid speculation, to encourage long-term engagement, that kind of stuff. But as far as being an investor is concerned, that kind of a thing is a little bit discouraging.
So right now, 32 is kind of a resistance area for Cosmos. I do like it to get to 40 if BTC does what we hope, which was get to 50,000 this month. I still think it's going to happen. I think there are some games being played, right, because we have a Bitcoin conference going on this week. So I think there are some manipulation games going on. Like can't name the people, but there's definitely some things that don't quite add up. But remember, Luna is buying BTC and Michael Saylor just bought BTC. So I don't think we're headed down just quite yet. I still like BTC, and I like this one to, break above 32, get to at least 40. It was one of my picks for this month. So I like it still. It's not something I'd want to hold in a bear market, but I would still recommend buying because I do like the 40. I'll say this: the 40 is a very conservative number. I think it can really get to an all-time high this month. I think it could follow Luna, which remember I talked about 120. We almost got there, 119. So I think it'll follow Luna coming up. So I'm liking it this month. Again, if BTC suddenly drops below 40K, all bets are off. I don't think that's going to happen because of Luna buying, which is supposed to continue this month. We don't have exact numbers or dates, but we know that the plan for Luna is to continue to buy 1 billion BTC. They're trying to go to 10. So I like Cosmos this month. Like I said, though, I don't see it as a long-term hold or anything like that, but I do think it's a pretty safe bet for this month in terms of buying.
The great thing about Cosmos, I think, versus BTC is that it has shown to hold a little bit of strength versus BTC in the dips. Comparing it to other altcoins, it doesn't bleed quite as much. And it's proven to move irrespective of Bitcoin at times. It'll pump on its own, even when Bitcoin is moving sideways. So even if you get stuck with it, there's still a little bit of strength here in the 20s area, as long as it's remaining there, especially if it gets to the mid to the low 20s, it's definitely a buy. For me, I wouldn't mind holding Cosmos. I don't hold it right now. But if I were going to make a purchase right now, I could do worse than Cosmos. I could do far worse. Market cap's a little bit high for me at 8 billion. But I think you and I were speaking before the show, and if you have a longer time frame, you could easily see this thing 10xing over, the next halving.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's doable for sure because the ecosystem is growing, and with Luna, that's going to be huge. So if you did buy and hold, I would want my money more in Luna itself, but I think Cosmos is pretty safe to hold. We want to discuss something. Our viewers, there's an opportunity. It's a very risky opportunity. It could be an amazing buy, but it could also be a dangerous buy. And we've talked about this point before. Waves right now, what's crazy is Waves topped out earlier at 63.52. I mean, less than 2 weeks ago. We're now down to 29.91 around there before. There's been a lot going on. So this is a Russian company that runs Waves. So that makes it very tricky because of the war that's going on, because of the money and government involvement. You don't know who has what in what hands and what pockets. So I wanted to address the audience about Waves because that, at 29, they might see it and say, whoa, this is an amazing opportunity. Let me jump in and put a lot of money in and to make it a quick flip. It's very tantalizing knowing that it's gone down this far and BTC could recover. What are your thoughts on Waves, Mr. FOMO? Or are you FOMOing in?
I am not FOMOing in on Waves, and I'll give you a few reasons. Looking into recent history of Waves, they've gotten into a bit of a conspiracy spat with FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried and Alameda Labs. I guess they're, for lack of a better word, their leader, their CEO, Mr. Ivanov, has accused FTX and Alameda Labs of shorting Waves in order to scoop up as much Waves as they can at a very low price. For me, it comes down to credibility. Who do you believe? FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, Alameda Labs. Those are companies that have been around and trustworthy. I mean, they have Alameda has ties to Cosmos as well, when we talked about earlier. So I would stay away from this one because it seemed, especially with that recent price action where it pumped up 100% and then it fell back down just as quickly.
It's still up 77% for the month, which is quite amazing. And the volume has been over 1 billion, which right now, you know there's a lot of selling because the volume is $988 million. And because it's going down, I mean, just we talked about just this week, 40%, 13.5 today. So there's a lot of selling.
And they
but
have
it does seem interesting to me. I tend to believe that this one's going to come back up. It's very risky though. So you go on your own.
They've got an algorithmic stable coin, much like Terra does. Terra Luna, right? It's called the Neutrino USD. Right now, it's lost its peg. It's worth somewhere in the 60s, like 68 cents for a Neutrino USD. So that should give you some.
It's risky. It's risky. But
that should give
is
you
it
some
possible this thing could find its way back with the Russians trying to put money in places? I'm just saying, could this thing find its way back to 60 within a few days? It's possible. Just throwing it out there. I'm not for me, no, I'm not taking the risk myself, but it's gotten a lot of headlines recently, the last couple of weeks. It's gotten a lot of exchanges recently. So I just wanted to bring it up really quickly. We can't leave without talking about Luna really quickly. Almost hit 120. Well, the supply just keeps going down. And I mentioned 500 by the next halving. I'm going to up my prediction. By 2025, we're going to see $1,000 Luna, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
so again, it's going to be up to you. It's going to be up to you when you get on board, because this thing is not going backwards anytime soon. We talked about $51. There's $1 billion locked in with whales for 4 years, and they're not dumb. They know what they're doing with their money. So forget about 5.
They've already doubled their money. We talked about this the other day. They've doubled their money, and they're making 19% on the Anchor protocol. They look like geniuses right now.
Yeah.
They are geniuses.
So I had 500 by 2024, 2025. I'm going to up that to 1,000. I think this coin's going to 10x. Believe it or not, it's going to get to where Ethereum is right now. Seems like a crazy prediction, but you follow this coin and the utility, and as the burning continues, and it's going to continue, the price is just going to continue to go up. So we will see in the next 3 years $1,000 Luna. But just remember that. Remember that right now when it's below 120.
That's a 10x from here. So
yeah, and it's not going to happen overnight, but we will see at some point $1,000, 500. Forget about it. Too conservative. Let's go to 1,000, and we might. Who knows? Prediction might go higher. Let's just see what. Yeah. So again, Luna, long-term possibilities are still there. Nothing's going to stop technical difficulties, anything you can think of, Mother Nature. Nothing's going to stop Luna. We're going to keep talking about. We're gonna be on this coin no matter what. Even if you find like yourself with outer space with Elon Musk, we're still going to do Luna videos because it is going to the moon. But guys, watch BTC closely. We got special, hopefully some very good flips for you later in the week. For Mr. FOMO, this is AZcrypto. Have a great week, everybody.
See ya.